are an attorney and do not want this call recorded, please hang up and call 570-963-6639, extension 4522, or extension 0 after business hours. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hi, Shawn. How are you?
Hey, happy early Easter, Alan.
Oh, you too, brother. I wish you were not in there.
I know I got him. Excuse me, that's why I'm calling. Last week they issued an order for, I guess I put in a release motion for COVID-19. I put in an earlier release motion. So what happened was the government last week ordered within 72 hours get a phone conference to be held. And that conference never happened last week. I don't know the status of that. Because I want to see whether or not we need to have a hearing on the issue if the parties are going to work it out. So hopefully we'll see what happens next week. It's interesting because it got bumped down from my district court judge. Now he's back to Sacramento, the original magistrate judge on the matter. So, we'll see what happens. But I don't have high hopes. Unfortunately, a lot of the factors that go for my release are factors that if the FBI are doing a good job and prosecuted bad public officials in my area again, I would have mitigating factors. But without that, it's pretty much nothing. So we'll see what happens.
Table needs to be put in the shed as corn.
Oh, Shawn, Christy's on the phone. Okay.
Hey, Shawn.
Hey, Rudy, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, man, it just started pouring raining, and I need to borrow my wife for maybe 30 seconds. We got to put a wooden table in the shed. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Thanks.
Hey, Shawn, you can keep talking while we're gone, but we're back.
If I hear about raining and taking the table to the shed, I actually have a bad roof.
No, we're good. I was going to say you could keep talking while we're gone, but we're back now.
Cool, yeah, so I said, we'll see what happens for the day. I guess my April 22nd date for sentencing won't happen because I guess the courthouse is shut down. So, the motion I got, the reply brief, I could have it if I consented to doing it over the telephone or via video, but I'm definitely not consenting to a telephone or video sentencing in this case because this is so high profile. So who knows when sentencing will be.
Hey, Shawn, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So let's imagine for just a second that I meet somebody brand new and I want to tell them about you, and I've got like a couple of minutes. They're only going to give me a couple minutes of their time. What recommendations would you give to me, like how to introduce you and your case and where they can go to learn more? I mean, I want to make sure that I'm doing a good job because sometimes we do have people that call and ask about you, and I just want to make sure I'm relaying the right stuff. So what would, yeah, I'm sorry.
The best stuff out there is, the interviews that I've done on this program, there is Shawn Christy Political Prisoner on Facebook, and unfortunately with that group, it's run by my parents, and they are not putting out information that deals with law enforcement because my parents are working with law enforcement, so I'll put that out to anybody who talks to my parents that they have actively been working with the FBI. So there's good information on the page, but not all of it represents my beliefs or views. So, pretty much in my case, the best thing people can do is go on Facebook, go on the court sites. I have information since 2011, 2012 on the federal court dockets under my name in Alaska and Pennsylvania, and there's 27 motions are filed as court documents, and it kind of just goes into the corruption in my case. I mean, bottom line with my case is I've dealt with a 10-year gun sting by the Pennsylvania State Police and the FBI that when they couldn't find any of the alleged weapons that they made up, they had to go to the point of trying to set me up with alleged weapons and trying to make up schemes and put confidential informants on my case and the whole 9 yards to try to justify what they did. So that's pretty much the best way I could condense the story is that everything that's happened to me since has been a continuation of the illegal gun sting run by the Pennsylvania State Police, specifically a trooper Andrew Watkins, who is also a deputy United States Marshal on the task force, and he works out of the Scranton office for the Middle District of Pennsylvania, as well as the Allentown office for the Eastern District. So that's the best I can paraphrase it.
Thank you. So this whole thing started off with the Fed saying you owned an illegal weapon. Is that how it started off?
Yeah, what they did was, I mean, going back, there was my mom's family up here in Pennsylvania, they went through a lot of nonsense. Some of it mafia related. And then we moved up here, like 2006, 2007, and we ran into a situation down in the trailer park, a lot of illegal activity going on, a lot of drugs, a lot of bad stuff happened, and we reported it. Ended up, instead of the state police looking at that, because we kind of broke up something bad going on down here, they started looking at us. And then every time we went to a gun shop to buy a gun legally, somehow an investigation would occur where other guns would be sold to us that we never bought. Guns that we sold back to the gun shops that we would buy with not like a weapon, like a high point, for example, and sell it back, would never get transferred back into the system. So they would still be using them guns and saying that we owned them, even though we had the receipts. Gets sued, we sold them back to the gun shop. Like in my case, at my uncle's house, there was a high point magazine. That high point magazine came from the same high point carbine that had been sold back in 2010 or 2011 to export shop in Rockville, PA. The gun is still floating around out there. They never listed it as being sold back. There's another gun, a Ruger Security 6, that Rocco Toro.
Well, Shawn, so what's wrong with owning that particular gun? I mean, a lot of people own guns in the United States. They don't get thrown in prison.
There's nothing wrong with it at all, but, you know, it's just when you have cops that go above and beyond. I mean, it's when you look at them, I mean, I'm kind of running like short on phone time here.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because
I got it.
we were on lockdown, so I get like a half hour out, which sucks. But when you look at the guns that we bought, they were common guns: Martian Nagant, bolt action rifles, a Romanian SAR-1, a couple of handguns. There wasn't anything uncommon or spectacular about them. Perfectly legal to own. We used them for legal purposes, but it just seems like sometimes when the cops want to pick out maybe a homeschooling family or whatever, that was what they used to go against us. As we want drug users, we want drug dealers, we want committing crimes, so the only thing that the cops could use against us was the fact that we were homeschoolers and we bought weapons. And I mean, I have a receipt for an AK-47 that we bought legally. That the gun shop, the dude at the gun shop who sold it actually backdated that receipt a year prior to try to justify this thing, like, oh, we're buying assault weapons. I mean, it's crazy, man. I had a Degree 57 Security 6 Ruger that was sold back to export shop. That gun wound up in the hands of Rocco Toro, who tried to give it back to my father when he was on federal probation. We had to report him to the FBI about it and the town council. Degree 57 Magnum ammunition. There's a photograph of it at my uncle's house. Hollow point ammunition, which he stated that he would not have owned. That came from the ammunition that was sold back with that gun because there's a box of Federal, I believe, premium, they call it, whatever the hell Federal called it. It's like a silver-looking box. It sells the silver, hollow point ammunition. I forget all the details, but that ammunition, they left. They set ammunition at my uncle's house. When I went into my uncle's house, it wasn't there. When the pictures from the crime scene came back, that ammunition was there. So I obviously didn't leave it there, and I would admit to getting caught, but that would just require the FBI to actually figure out what the hell actually happened and do something, which goes back another agent on my case, Alan Jones, who works for the Allentown FBI office, and looks like I can't prove it. It looks like he had an investigation on my family when we were living in New Jersey since at least 1999 or 2000, and I'm having a hard time putting all the pieces together. But it looks like because my mom's family was involved in mafia activity, that Agent Jones, being a young agent, and his office having jurisdiction in South Jersey as well as Pennsylvania, was using the local Maple Shade Police Department to harass my family. That's a whole nother story. But maybe next time I call, I can put it together in a better thing to realize. That's a good question you have, and unfortunately I don't know the answer because it gets confusing to me because I go down so many side roads that it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find a summary way to describe your case. You know, what you were convicted of and how you were railroaded and targeted. And at some point, we may not have time to do it on this call, but this, and I only vaguely know about it. And I don't even know what if it's, you know, what you can say and what you can't say because you've got, you know, upcoming legal sentencing and stuff like that. But this whole thing about a letter to Sarah Palin, and they claimed you sent it, and it was a threatening letter, and I want to know if you have a position on that I should know about, and if there's any truth to that, and you know, I don't want you to say anything to put yourself in jeopardy, though, you know, for your upcoming sentencing.
I will try to do that very quickly. That goes back to the problem that we have, at least I have in my case, with Trump being a top cop. Donald Trump is pretty much the United States of America. It's in the Constitution. I know a lot of people don't follow that, but Trump now is responsible for my case, just letting this stuff go on. The letter actually, what happened in 2010, there was a restraining order against me from Sarah Palin, and that order was about to expire. What happened was that letter, there was a letter sent from around the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area. It was addressed to Todd Palin. It was like a cut and paste letter. They cut magazines articles out. It was like a generic threat letter to Willow Palin. The return address on it was H Point, trying to refer to High Point, like a High Point coffee. Really weird. Well, that was the basis for the second restraining order that Palin got against me and my dad and my mom. And the FBI came out, we found out later, stated that there was no proof the letter came from us. Eventually, 10 years later, when I got some of the chain of evidence receipts that Alan Jones didn't want to give me, I got to see a copy of Ann Kirkland's handwriting, the agent on my case, and it matched perfectly to writing on the letter. So, hypothetically, I can assume that Agent Kirkland most likely sent the letter because the handwriting matches. That letter there was started my federal case for harassing Palin's lawyer because we found out how illegal the restraining orders were that she issued against us, and we got into it with a lawyer, and we got into it very deeply with a lawyer, so the FBI decided to charge us instead of charging her lawyer for issuing illegal court documents that cross state lines. So
got it.
That's a summary of the letter. That we'll see what happens with it.
Did you ever have any relationship with anybody in the Palin family, or have any reason to like them or dislike them, or was that just completely made up?
I mean, there was after I supported the campaign in 2008, there was some contacts that I received after emailing the governor's office from somebody claiming to be 15 years old, someone claiming to be Willow Palin. The identity of that person kind of changed through a couple months texting. Escapade, I don't know if it was Agent Ian Kirkland, I don't know who it was. big investigation. I ended up turning myself into Capitol Police. Never got an idea of actually who was actually sending a text because never got to see him. They kind of buried him.
Okay.
I mean, it's interesting to realize that I don't know if it was somebody in the Palin family or I don't know if it was
Got it.
an FBI agent. I mean, I've dealt with good family members later on through the years in person and different venues. Initially, no, I don't know. And as far as like good old Dakota Meyer, I mean, he's kind of extended family in a way. I mean, he is an ex of Bristol, but him, I got involved with him because he had people from his company that were actually basically stalking my house and my family, taking photos, harassing them, cursing at them, driving by our house, and we kind of tracked it back to him. And eventually we tracked it back to a man down in your area, Brendan Hurrell, who actually worked for DM Tactical, Dakota Meyer's company. We actually have video of him stalking my parents in my local area. So that's where I started, basically, I'll call my investigation of Dakota Meyer, which led me down to your city, Austin, Texas, and then eventually led me down to Kentucky. And in Kentucky, I got to deal with some of the Alaska Marshals. I got to deal with a 300 blackout Ruger rifle that had dead ammunition. A bunch of nonsense down there. So that could just be a whole call deal.
Okay, all right.
I ran into it.
No, it sounds like a long, winded road and journey of how you wound up in prison. But what were you actually convicted of? And again, if you don't have time to, cover that now, but what did they actually convict you of that has made you be in prison right now?
I'll tell you that real quick, and I'll let you go before my time runs out on the clock here. I can make one or two more phone calls today.
Okay.
I was convicted of 4 counts of threatening communication interstate towards the president, towards the DA in Northampton County, and towards unidentified law enforcement officials. One of the counts was actually dropped before indictment. I was convicted of 2 counts of stolen vehicles and 6 counts of firearms. Now, the interesting thing is the DA, Morganelli, who I'm convicted of threatening, stated to Newsweek magazine that he did not feel threatened by me and that I'm not a victim of his.
Wow.
Right, he's not a victim of mine.
Right. Wow.
The 2 vehicles, the one owner of the one vehicle refused to testify against me in state court. Refused to testify against me at my federal trial, and the owner of the vehicle refused to testify against me for the school van at my federal trial. So there's no owners of the vehicle who've ever filed FD302s or any other types of reports against me. And the firearms counts are very interesting because there's a lot of evidence that went missing. They've never had any forensics on the guns to leak them back to me. They've never had any video from the scenes where I was alleged to have had them. And the person who even stated that he saw someone in the area with the one gun, stated that he couldn't identify me in court, as well as the 380, which they showed in court, the Ohio State trooper who...
You have 60 seconds remaining.
The alleged weapon stated that he couldn't identify it as the weapon that he allegedly took from me. Just a whole lot of problems. Hopefully I'll get my transcripts. The FBI really doesn't want me to have my transcripts. And I can do more. And then we'll see Governor Tom Wolfield just let out like 1,800 people in the state, so maybe my parole will be one of them. But see what happens and get us for 60 seconds. So God bless you guys, and I'll try to be in touch in a week or two and see what happens this week. Amen.
God bless you, Shawn. You're in our prayers, and I hope you get a book or two. I think there were some books ordered for you. I hope they allow you to have them. God bless you, Shawn. You're in our prayers.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for using Global Tel Link.